If you all noticed, well, Kaceytron set out an apology. So for anybody who's wondering, oftentimes when a settlement agreement is reached and there is to be a public apology, typically what happens is the person who's doing the suing will turn around and either bullet point or write out a apology that they want the person that they are suing to cover or to say, and then they go back and forth between the two people, the lawyers and everything, until they find out and they say, complete agreement, and are like, all right, cool, we got this. This is what we want to say. So for anyone who's saying that, oh, Ethan Klein wrote this, or et cetera, at the end of the day, Kaceytron is the one who decided to agree to the statement that was put out. So there's that as well. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, somebody who's facing financial destitute shouldn't settle like some people will, but boy, did we learn some things from there. Boy, did we learn some things from her public apology. So let's get into what it is that Ethan Klein had to turn around and say, and what the crew members had to say about all of this.
Oh, you can see. Okay, here we go. Yeah.
And by stating I take responsibility for infringing the content nuke.
Yeah, start it over.
I want to begin by stating I take responsibility for infringing the content nuke. The lawsuit was not frivolous. When I said the lawsuit was frivolous and based on misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins. This lawsuit has given me a greater understanding of copyright protection, people's copyrights, and the importance of protecting copyrights in the online content creation community. It is important for the entire content creation community to respect the intellectual property rights of other creators, and I will adhere to the lessons I've learned throughout this process going forward.
Now, I said this in the video, and I really hope that she does actually learn from this. Some people are trying to say that Ethan Klein probably has in the settlement agreement that he's not allowed to talk about Kaceytron, and I highly doubt that. The person who's actually, the person being sued doesn't really have any leeway or leverage to turn around and put stipulations on the person that's suing them. Although it is entirely possible that he did agree to it just simply to sweeten the deal to get her to go forward with his request for a public apology. And we don't know, right? Unless we actually have the settlement agreement in our hands and can go over it, which I highly doubt we ever will. But it is interesting to think, maybe he decided, no, you know what? We aren't going to talk about each other whatsoever. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the settlement agreement, but who knows? What crazier things have leaked.
I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support.
Oh, so before she gets into that, because I love this part. No, it's going to stay up. Well, anyway, it's only 3 minutes long. But I want to say that I really appreciate she really turned a leaf on the copyright stuff, and I think that's really important, right? Because the purpose of this was the activism aspect of it all. Oh no, I can go back. Oh, you know what? I should just let it play for you guys.
And I have to actually agree. I didn't really touch on that in my video because a lot of this was like, oh, they're being an activist for Palestine. They're attacking Ethan because he's this genocidal maniac. He's this, that, and the third. And they were using the plight of the Palestinians to attack him. But it is good that, in this video, she stated the fact that she didn't state it, but she didn't say that the reason she attacked him was due to like wanting better for the Palestinians. Because in this situation, and the same with Hassan, Denham's, Frogan, all of them have done this under the guise of doing, fighting for the Palestinian rights and going against the evil Israel government and the Israel lover that is Ethan Klein and all that. So it is good that it sucks to have to eat crow and fall on your sword, but at the end of the day, like imagine your entire like online activism BS is putting up dead children as a sword and shield.
You guys, right? And we can go back and enjoy certain moments of it, not enjoy, because certainly that's not the right word to say, but to appreciate. Dan, don't rush me. Should I play it? Okay, Dan wants me to play it. All right, we'll start it over because negative. I don't want to see people being rude to her. I genuinely have forgiven her. I'm moving on, and it's water under the bridge. I don't want to see anybody I'm being dead serious. Let's not be nasty to her, guys. This is it. Okay, it's over. We won. That's it. We won, right? So let's just move on and thank her. Thank you.
And it's a good thing that he said that too, because there's a lot of people who are going to try and say that he's just going to continue to attack her. And throughout all of this, people have tried to say that Ethan has utilized his fan base as a weapon and everything, and the call to actions. But the same could be said for any, and I've said this before, the same could be said for any freaking creator with any sizable amount of an audience. If you talk about somebody or if you cover somebody, you don't have the ability to dictate what it is that your viewers will go and do, especially when you have, like tens of thousands of them.
I'm being dead serious. Please do not.
The lawsuit was not frivolous. When I said the lawsuit was frivolous and based on misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins. This lawsuit has given me a greater understanding of copyright protection, people's copyrights, and the importance of protecting copyrights in the online content creation community. It is important for the entire content creation community to respect the intellectual property rights of other creators, and I will adhere to the lessons I've learned throughout this process going forward. I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support, financial or otherwise, from Hassan Piker. Hassan never even reached out to me privately to offer words of support. Speaking honestly, I found his indifference to my suffering hurtful, especially after he hinted he might help me behind the scenes. It felt like he wanted to receive credit from the public for him helping me without providing any.
It's crazy because everybody said that. Everybody said that. We all said that that's exactly what was happening. That he, because there's that famous line where he's like, if I decide to help them, trust me, you'll never know about it. Well, apparently nobody knew about it. It's like, if I just all you have to do is say, I'm not helping these people. But of course you can't. Otherwise, everybody who refers to him as the savior of the left is going to be upset.
As to the GoFundMe money, to the extent there are any remaining funds after I pay my attorney's fees, I have agreed to pay the remaining funds to the Kleins. The funds will not go to anyone else, including Denims or Frogan, to defend their lawsuits. For the record, I have agreed to cooperate with the Kleins in their litigation against the H3 Snark mods for promoting my live stream to the extent that I am able. I will offer my support, including testifying under oath to everything I have just stated, to help their cause. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge other misconduct and bad behavior I have exhibited online.
Now, when it comes to her testifying and all that, like I said, it's entirely possible that there's not a whole lot that she actually has that she can contribute, but it is entirely possible that she has DMs with Frogan and with Denims, and in those DMs, it's entirely possible that they went ahead and acknowledged the fact that they were creating a market substitute. This is why I said, when it comes to discovery, nothing is safe. Nothing. As long as the judge rules that whatever it is that you're trying to obtain through discovery could potentially help your case against somebody, it comes out. Whether it's Instagram DMs, Twitch DMs, Twitter DMs, freaking YouTube, when YouTube used to have DMs, all of that. But it's interesting to see. And I know that I know that freaking Denims went on Twitter the other day and put out a multi-paragraph response, and everyone's trying to say that this is a hostage and this is a hostage video. She agreed to doing this. I mean, look, if Frogan comes out and Frogan and the Kleins settle, then that just leaves Denims on her own. So I do wonder exactly how that'll go. Now, Denims most likely has more money than both freaking, Frogan and Kaceytron combined, considering she's bigger than the two of them. So it is entirely possible that she's going to be able to financially survive until next year in fucking October when their court date is. But we'll have to just wait and see exactly what ends up happening. Things could get leaked, more things can come out, and she could end up, settling the same way.
For example, weaponizing the death of Asmongold's mother was inexcusable. I should know better because I have 3 disabled people that rely on me. Moving forward,
that was crazy.
I will do better. I also want to apologize to the crew of the H3 podcast.
It's also crazy how people are saying, oh, she never did anything like that. She never said anything like that. And yet here she is talking about how she weaponized the death of Asmongold's mom and implied that, due to the living conditions, she died. Not like she had a fucking medical condition or anything.
Particularly AB and Olivia.
Yeah.
I apologize for calling them cowards for not quitting their jobs. That was a shameful attack on 2 people who deeply care about Palestine and Palestinian people. AB, along with his wife Lena, have done more than I have ever done for the Palestinian people, including raising over $100,000 in charity. Yeah. I recognize that they have actually made Palestinian lives better, and my online antagonism and trolling has not.
Yeah.
I apologize to Ethan and Hila personally. I have said extremely mean and cruel things about both of them, particularly my misogynistic attacks against Hila that never should have been said.
Which is crazy considering she talked about, oh, I'm a victim, I'm a woman, incels, misogyny. Yet she turns around and was calling like Klein a freaking cunt, and was saying she was ugly and all this, that, and the third. Like it's the same thing with like Lizzo. How Lizzo was all fat, you know, positive, body positive and shit, but would routinely call her backup dancers fat and tell them that they needed to lose weight until she got on Ozempic and shit. It's absolutely insane. Look, when it comes to these types of people who are so raw against something or raw for something, oftentimes they're doing the opposite. We've seen it plenty of freaking times where, you know, we'll have like governors or lawmakers be completely against gay marriage, and then you know what, they end up being found at a gay bar or a strip club or something like that.
I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces. It should concern all of us. I condemn it and will not participate in it. To that end, I wish the client's success in enforcing TED Entertainment's copyright and protecting the legal rights of online content creators.
Just sit on that for a sec. Check my phone here. Just sit on that. You know, just.
He's taking such a massive
you know,
W.
Just sit on it. What a heartfelt. I mean, like genuinely, and I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna be honest. Is it heartfelt? Is it a completely genuine freaking settlement? I mean, or apology? Let's be realistic. Not really, but at the same time, the thing about this, like the number one thing about this, is the fact that she has recognized and stated that she recognizes that she infringed upon the copyright of the content nuke, which, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which side of the, you know, coin you fall on, can open her up to liability in the future if she does this with any other creator, because she is currently stating that she recognizes what she did, it was not a legitimate reaction. She recognizes that what she did was copyright infringement. So if she was to quote unquote react or watch another creator's content in the same way she did the content nuke, she opens herself up to being sued in the future, because she's already stating that she acknowledges the way that she went about watching the content nuke did not fall under fair use. So that's why I said, like, I really do hope that this is something that she does learn from and that other people learn from, because at the end of the day, nobody really wants people to be getting out here and suing and doing all this craziness. Like, just follow TOS, follow copyright law. It's not that difficult, to be completely honest. If you're not very good at doing commentary or you don't really have anything to say, it's time to just cut the video short. Say, look, I don't really have anything to add and I don't want to just infringe upon this, and move on to the next thing.
Say something. Kaceytron, we've said it continually throughout this. You are extraordinarily funny and a very talented person. And I wish you all the best in the future, in your future endeavors. And I know you will continue to make people laugh and to continue to bring joy to people in that regard. I do. I think you are extremely funny and very clever. So, and I accept your apology. I do. And
I gotta disagree with that. I think that I think she's unintentionally funny at times. That's my personal opinion. I don't think she means to be funny in the moments that she is.
And I appreciate all the sincerity and just all the specific. A lot of the stuff in there was really, I think, warranted. And I'm glad that she's, you know, come to terms with a lot of it. And I appreciate it. I really think she's turned a new leaf. I do. Now let's watch it. Now I can pause it and stuff, right?
Yeah, now that we've watched it, you can do whatever you want.
All right. So now one part that really stands out to me is the part about Hassan. Because he really did make it, and we have that clip right when Hassan was making it sound like
he was gonna help.
Yeah. When Hassan was making it sound like he was going to help them, and I mean, rightfully so. If I was him, I would have reached out immediately and offered my support, emotionally and financially, right? And that is something I have done.
Yeah, this is exactly the clip that I'm talking about. Look, if you're not, and I said this. Take yourself into this position, right? If you have Hassan money, and you truly wholeheartedly believe that somebody is maliciously engaging in a frivolous lawsuit against somebody that you claim to like care about, or to like you claim is a good person or whatever, are you truly going to like not in any way, shape, or form? No, of course not. You're going to lend support. But if you believe that the person completely infringed upon this person's copyright or did something illegal, you're not going to waste money trying to help them.
In other instances.
It's incredibly stressful.
Hey, what's up, Tims? How you doing today, brother?
For both emotionally and financially to go through a lawsuit.
It is, and I appreciate the situation she's been in, and that's why.
Which is also why I'm so glad to at least put one behind us.
Yeah. And I know it was difficult on her, and I'm glad that she's free of it now, and she can just move on. We can all move on. I really do. I have appreciation for Kaceytron, and I thank her very much for the very thorough and sincere apology. That being said, let's watch this clip of when Hassan suggests
what's up, Grimbly,
helping them behind the scenes.
He has also admitted multiple times he wants to hurt you financially through them as if you were their legal guardian. No, I know.
I have never suggested that, by the way. Or I did suggest that he should help them, which he should. I mean, they're his orbiters, right? And Hassan is extraordinarily rich. In fact, saying he just sits on a pile of cash like Smaug the dragon.
Yeah, he said on leftovers. He just.
I go, what do you do with your fortune?
Just sits there.
He goes, I just sit on it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Smaug the dragon. You don't have any fucking better uses than just sitting on a pile of gold?
Yeah, I gotta stop.
Anyway, so here's what he said.
That's why he keeps saying like, oh, socialist. Why won't he give these guys money? Trust me, if I offer support.
Well, apparently socialism is when you don't give people money. Because as a capitalist myself and as a liberal Democrat, I would absolutely give them money. I pay all my employees. You know what I mean? My mods, everybody gets paid around here. I don't ask anybody to work for free. That is a uniquely socialistic philosophy. It seems like, at least from Hassan's POV.
Yeah,
that's Hassan's version of socialism.
Yeah,
is I get paid a mountain of coins to sit and guard on, and you get nothing.
I hate all of you.
Which is actually kind of funny considering if you know, like, one of the more anti-Semitic talking points is when somebody says that like Jewish people just all they care about is money.
You won't know about it, okay?
Yeah, and apparently neither will the people being sued know about it either. It's just crazy. And then his response to this and everything. Like, this is why I said that when freaking Kaceytron turned around and said that he never even so much as reached out with a DM to her, it's like it would be so easily provably false if it wasn't true. Like, he could very easily just pull up the DMs, show that he reached out to her, but he utilized her and was like, hey guys, yeah, go help Kaceytron. This is all frivolous. This is evil. Ethan Klein is an evil person. Ah, rah, rah, rah. But then you turn around and you find out the bro didn't even send her a DM, didn't even like try and be like, go get it, sister, like, or anything like that. It's crazy. Like, I couldn't imagine. Honestly, I couldn't imagine just using somebody like that.
So you see, like the implication there is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And he even gives like, let me go back because oh shit, it's so long. Hold on, I forgot it's like a 7-hour clip. Let me reopen it to the timestamp because there's some important stuff, guys. And I just
pointing out, Ethan, it's Smaug.
That's I was saying it right.
Did you say Smaug?
No, I literally went out of my way to say Smaug.
Okay, well then
run it back, bro.
Pick it up with the chatters.
Because I knew people were going to be geared up to call me out for that, and I went out of my way to pronounce it right.
Okay,
pull it back.
No, I believe
run it
you.
back.
I believe you.
Smaug.
I believe you. These chatters, they're wilding, dude.
I do want to continue to emphasize: be nice to Kaceytron. We won. She apologized. That's it.
I'm seeing a lot of love for her.
Yeah, that's it.
A+ apology.
I don't know how the rest of the.
She is every woman.
Listen, I want to at least be able to say that from our community.
Look, and I'm gonna say the same thing. Like, I don't know Kaceytron. I've never known Kaceytron. And when I said that I doubt that she was getting the level of harassment that she was implying that she was getting, because I truly do. I think that a lot of the time when creators end up getting criticism, they, equate it to harassment, and that's just not the case in my personal opinion. If you're a content creator to any degree, whether you have 1 follower or 1 million, you're going to be you're going to be subject to criticism. And I think that a lot of the time what it is that people who become content creators, they find themselves in such a small niche of the internet, or they find themselves in a bit of an echo chamber, because I mean, think about it. You go live to your own audience watches your videos. So you're not really, nobody really has an audience that's constantly calling them out or saying that they're doing a bad video or saying that they're bored or anything of that nature, right? It's always generally going to be an audience that likes what you do, agrees with you on most of your points. And when you get big enough or you get enough attention, you end up getting that other side, the side that doesn't agree with you, that finds you uninteresting, that doesn't want to hear what you have to say, And when that happens, a lot of the time people are like, wait, I thought you guys loved me. And it's like, yes, your fans like you. People who are not fans of you or are fans of people that you're feuding with in the moment, they're not going to like you. So I think a lot of it is just people being unable to actually like interact with that side, right? The side that disagrees with them.
We forgive, we move on, and we can all appreciate that she's a funny, talented person, and that's it. That's the guy. Yeah, let me open this timestamp again. One sec here. So let me just go back a little bit. We can analyze this more thoroughly.
I feel like if I don't give any,
Yeah.
all of these other like,
Yeah.
How do you not have it as a clip at this point, bro?
You got that? Are you logged into the wrong Wi-Fi again?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
That's like a new YouTube feature where they just buffer forever, right? I mean, has anyone else said that?
No.
Especially on super long videos. No? Okay, just me.
they already set precedent, and their own precedent we use to shut down H3 for their claim. I know, but it doesn't matter because if that is a
So this chatter says our own precedent will be used against us, despite the fact that our own precedent has been used to great effect in favor of our own arguments. Which is me laying up myself, by the way.
And that's the problem when people get their information from people that have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Like, let's be realistic here. Remember when Hassan was trying to turn around and be like, oh my God, vexatious litigation. This is vexatious litigation. It's like, bro, that's not what that means, especially considering the dude doesn't even know what a freaking socialist means. How are we doing today? Tim's, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Figured I'd get a live stream in if I'm not going to be working.
You said smile.
How is everybody else doing in the chat today?
Thank you. Let the record. No, I said Smaug.
Yeah, hold on. The way that he just said it was a little ambiguous. It was kind of halfway between the two.
You said Smaug the dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds close enough to whatever you're saying,
I know
Dan.
it's not Smaug.
I'm just doing my job, people.
Thank you. No, AB, you reported that accurately. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyway, back to the song.
So glad you're doing your job.
Battle.
We need clarity.
If that is a costly legal battle, ultimately, that costly legal battle is still a victory for Ethan because he was able to bully these people. And they're receiving
by the way, she did raise $60,000 and I do want to say that of everything that was left over after she paid her attorneys went directly to me, which again, I do want to just say that I told you guys that. I did thank everybody every time they were donating to one of these GoFundMes. You're like, aren't you afraid? No, that's literally my money. I'm grateful.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. Leading up to all of this, everybody was literally just saying that. It's like if you're donating to Kaceytron, Denims, or Frogan, you're literally just donating to Ethan. All you're really doing is keeping their head above water until they finally either A, lose, or B, settle. And then whatever's left over is going to go to him. And I never once thought that, I'm going to be realistic here. I never once thought that Ethan would allow that GoFundMe money to go to anybody other than himself. And the reason for it is because I wouldn't either. If I'm going to settle with somebody and I'm seeking the maximum damages of $150K, do you honestly think I'm going to allow, $40,000 to go to some other person that I'm also in a lawsuit with? There's absolutely no fucking way, bro. Like, look, you can say that that's mean, that you can say that it's evil. Oh, you're cutting them off at the knees, brother. That's like, if you're on trial for murder, are you going to turn around and help the opposition? No. If you're getting sued or you're suing somebody, why would you want to help the people that you're suing? It doesn't make sense.
This is my sincere gratitude, so thank you to all the snarkers and all the supporters out there that donated to these GoFundMe accounts, because as I stated before, and as we've now seen, that's my money. And it always was, right?
Threats in the process, people are fucking shitting on them. All of these other orbiters that suckle on the teat are salivating with extra drama. And I go.
Do I even have orbiters? Well, I guess I have some now. Like girl with the microphone. I think she's an orbiter. Not that I would not that I even need that title, but I guess someone could claim that. She's her own person. She orbits no man. She's the center of her own solar system, bro. Right?
Well, everything is orbiting something else in space. Think about it.
I think that people often confuse what an orbiter is. Look, I've been covering Ethan Klein, right, for a while, for a couple of weeks, maybe a week, 2 weeks, something like that. I wouldn't consider myself an orbiter. I do consider myself somebody who covers internet drama, though, right? So just because you cover the biggest internet story that's going on in your little niche world doesn't automatically make you an orbiter. What makes you an orbiter, in my personal opinion, is if you're specifically catering to the audience of the person that you're covering. I have already said multiple times that Ethan Klein has said and done some shitty things, right? I have turned around and said that some of the stuff that he's done could be considered racist or racism, that people could be upset over it, that there are some things that I don't agree with him on. And if I was an orbiter, I'd just be like, yeah, Ethan Klein, rah, 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 Ethan Klein good, or Ethan Klein, all this, that, and the third. But if you can acknowledge the fact that whoever it is that you're covering has done both good and bad, I don't really think that makes you an orbiter. I also don't fucking pander myself to Ethan Klein's audience, because Ethan Klein's audience, let's be realistic here, he's got some pretty hefty lefties over there. And when it comes to my own like trans talking points and stuff of that nature, not all of them are going to agree. I'd say a vast majority of them don't agree with me on it.
We're all orbiting the galactic center.
That's true. What about entire galaxies? What do they orbit?
They could be mutually orbiting other.
All right, let's get
a
to
permanent victim.
How dare you? How dare you?
But also at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I don't give any attention to this with my platform, it's like, then I feel like I'm leaving these people defenseless.
So he's saying, I will talk about it because I feel if I don't support them, I'm leaving them defenseless. In other words, he's kind of saying like, I want you guys to donate. But when it comes time for him, he doesn't even fucking reach out. He did not even, I want you guys to understand this. This man did not even reach out. Okay.
And that's the other thing too. Like, you can't fight a lawsuit with kind words. You're still leaving this person defenseless. Like saying, hey, this is bad, this is going on. You're not really defending this person. You're not really helping them with the cause. You're not really helping them with anything. Are you like bringing attention to it where people could potentially go over there and send money? Sure. But why exactly are you having everyday 9-to-5 people going and giving the money that they don't have when you're literally a fucking multimillionaire? I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense.
But he wants all of his fans to donate. Well, yeah, I know that for a fact. That's what she just testified, or well, I don't know if that's the correct word, but that's what she said, and she said she would repeat it under oath. So that's I don't think she would lie in the apology. That would be a really bad idea, right? So I totally believe her. She didn't lie about anything. Kaceytron's been exceedingly honest and straightforward about everything. And again, once again,
we have no reason to think that that's not true. So yeah,
no, she's been extraordinarily honest about everything. So yeah, 100%.
He has also admitted multiple times.
I don't know about being honest about everything.
He wants to hurt you financially through them as if you were their legal guardian. No, I know. That's why.
I don't know if I said that, but okay, I don't care either way.
Keep saying like,
it's not my goal, for the record.
Oh, socialist. Why won't he give these guys money? Trust me, if I offer support, you won't know about it.
Watch his face right now. What do you suppose that means? Let me zoom in so that people with poor vision can see what I just saw.
About it. Okay. I keep saying like, oh, socialist. Why won't he give these guys money? Trust me, if I offer support, you won't know about it. Okay.
It's such a wink, wink, nod, nod. It's literally such a wink, wink, nod, nod, dude. It's the same as like if somebody was to turn around and be like, oh, well, I know some stuff that I can't share, but they end up not knowing anything about it whatsoever. It's like when Dog Pat came out with his like anti-Mr. Beast BS, and that freaking wannabe comedian was like, come to my show if you want to know more about Mr. Beast. Come to my show, buy a ticket, come to my show, and I'll spill everything I know about Mr. Beast. And it turned out he didn't know shit. He didn't know a damn thing about anything. It's the same, man. Or when people were talking about like Dr. Disrespect, and they were all talking about the DMs between them, and it was all word of mouth. It was like none of them had actually seen the DMs or the whispers, whatever the fuck they're called on Twitch.
Now, what do you suppose that nod is saying?
Think about it.
And I think Kaceytron said it really well. It's like he wants the public's gratitude, the public credit. He's like, hey, oh yeah, I'm a socialist. If I reach out, you won't hear about it. And then he even goes out his way to go. Right? But then when you find out.
It's a wink, wink, nod, nod. That's literally what it is. It's a, guys, look. I'm doing it behind the scenes. Trust me, I'm doing it behind the scenes. When in actuality, it was all just for show. It's always been just for show. Never in my wildest, delusional state have I ever thought about the fact that he would have helped any of these people. If anything, the only person he would actually have helped or would help, in my opinion, would be Denims, because she actually has a larger following than both Kaceytron and Frogan combined. Like, she's literally his waiting room. Why would he not?
Yeah, he didn't even reach out. So the way Kaceytron said is really rings true, is that he wanted the public credit, the goodwill, but he didn't want to actually engage in any of the actual work. The man couldn't even reach out and offer his emotional support, right? I'd be like, hey, listen, you've got this GoFundMe money. If things get dire, if you need me, I'm here for you. I'm gonna make sure you don't drown. He didn't do anything. What a scumbag. I am sorry, but what a fucking scumbag.
Yep.
That was incredible. That was incredible. That was an incredible thing to learn. You know.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I had no idea that was going to be the
emotions
case.
To share.
Like, I knew she didn't. I knew he wasn't going to help her financially. I at least thought he would reach out and be like, hey, like, you know, you got this, or hey, let me put you in contact with these people.
That might be. That might be true. Well, he has money to share, if it's not emotion. Yeah. All right, so let's go over this.
On misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because I've really resented this narrative from Hassan and all these people in orbit who say their lawsuits are frivolous. When you spend a second to look into it, it's clearly not frivolous. And they keep rehashing the same dumb arguments like, oh, if it wasn't frivolous, why aren't you suing Asmongold? Dude, I said it in the video. I said it a million times over every time. It's because they willfully and maliciously copyright infringe.
Yeah.
Right? All three of the people I'm suing said something to the effect of, I watch it with me or somebody else so he doesn't get the views.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Everybody.
But everybody just wants to go ahead and, you know, freaking see no evil, hear no evil. You know, they're trying to turn around and act like that's not at all what happened. But that's the problem. Most of the time, these people don't even watch Ethan Klein because they hate him so much. But it's like, look, even if I dislike somebody, even if I hate somebody, whatever it is, I'd at least watch what it is that they say rather than take, you know, what somebody else says that they said. I would at least react or watch what it is that they put out, what their actual response was, rather than somebody's synopsis of what their response was, because that person entirely has the ability to maliciously rewrite what it is that somebody said.
You know,
So
that is just a big giant no-no.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
So I appreciate her saying that right off the rip there.
This lawsuit has given me a greater understanding of copyright protection.
And that's really good too.
And the importance of protecting copyrights in the online content creation community. It is important for the entire content creation community to respect the intellectual property rights of other creators.
Yeah.
And I will adhere to the lessons I've learned throughout this process going.
See, I mean, that's a silver lining thing where it's like, the whole point of these lawsuits for me has been activism from the start. That's the primary purpose of this. And so when I hear that she's kind of learned how to be more mindful with the way she interacts with copyrighted or other people's property, then I think that's a big win for both of us. I think that's a huge dub, you know? And it's really an important conversation we've been having in this community for years. So it's really nice to hear her say that, right?
Forward. I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support, financial or otherwise, from Hassan
Doesn't
Piker.
it sound like that? Sure. I think we should probably.
I will say, if Denims does end up going all the way to court and loses, that would honestly be way better, because it does set a precedent at that point. Now, somebody who so vehemently would, you know, denied the fact that she was engaging in a market substitute being proven incorrect in court, it would legitimately set a precedence in the future. And not only that, but it would open up her, you know, she would have to rework how it is that she does her quote unquote reactions or, you know, watch parties. So I do think that it is actually kind of good if she's willing to double, triple, quadruple down and go all the way to court and she ends up losing. Well, you know what? It's going to be a good day for a lot of the React community. And if she ends up winning, you know, personally, I think it would be a bad day. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to accept no matter what happens, whether you're for or against the Kleins or for or against Denims, you have to pretty much accept it. Now, of course, there's appeals. Of course, you have the ability to overturn a judgment and all that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait like almost a fucking year before this shit even gets to a courtroom.
Really put that, probably.
Or at least starts.
It's important to bring up.
Hassan never even reached out to me privately to offer words of support. Speaking honestly, I found his indifference to my suffering hurtful, especially after he hinted he might help me behind the scenes. It felt like he wanted to receive credit from the public for helping me without providing any. As to the GoFundMe money, to the extent there are any remaining funds after I pay my attorney's fees, I have agreed to pay the remaining funds to the Kleins.
Yeah.
The funds will not go to anyone else, including Denims or Frogan, to defend their lawsuits.
Yeah. And I mean, that's obvious, right? Like, we all knew this money was going to end up going to me, and rightfully so. I mean, you can't raise money. The thing with copyright infringement is any money you make in connection with the copyright infringement is all, it's all up for.
If she wins the lawsuit, then YouTube as a whole is doomed. I'm going to be honest. If she does end up winning the lawsuit, I mean, it's going to open up a whole new generation of watch party reaction. Reactors it's already difficult enough right? Because unless you have the type of money to actually go to court over copyright, which most people don't. I mean, just look at it like this. She raised over $60,000 and that was not nearly enough to even get to a courtroom, right? It wasn't even enough to get to a fucking trial date. So it will open up a whole new litany of people who offer minimal commentary and essentially just put on a watch party and could potentially get millions and millions of dollars. I mean, we saw it with Sniper Wolf, right? Where all you really have to do is have a push-up bra, look and act dumb and be dumb, and you're just able to make millions of dollars. But it's been the meta on Twitch for so long. We had booby streamers, we had hot tub streamers, we've had watch parties. There was the whole, kitchen nightmares meta back in the day. Like, it's been a huge thing on Twitch for so long. One of the reasons why a lot of people who engage in this type of content don't do it on YouTube is because oftentimes people are way more, litigation ready on YouTube than they are on Twitch.
For grabs, or it's not up for grabs. I mean, it's all part of the damages. It's all like.
And I don't see anything wrong with copyright striking something so long as it's not frivolous. But I do see something wrong with people turning around and willingly participating in copyright infringement solely based off of the fact that most people just don't have the money to go to court over it.
Liability. Where's that? Oh yeah, and also I want to give a special actually can you do me a favor? Send me the GoFundMe so I can thank all the top donators, actually, including I do want to give a special thank you to Anissa for $1,000, and I know they've been on really hard times.
Hey.
So I know they dug deep to donate that 1,000. And
this is I'm gonna be honest, he's doing his freaking victory lap, and this man deserved it, everything. Let's not sit here and say he doesn't deserve it. And you know what, if Kaceytron Denims or Frogan wins, or if Kaceytron Denim and or Frogan had won their lawsuit or won this, they deserve to do their victory lap too, regardless if we liked it or not. Like, it's just the bottom line. A W is a W.
I personally am very grateful for that,
whether you think they earned it or didn't.
So thank you to Anissa and iDubbbz to the effect that he makes any decisions in that household.
Yeah, shout out to the Joe Mods.
But I do want to thank all the top donators here. Let's see here. Ari JPG, thank you so much for the 1,000. Bad Empanada, 500. Now $500 when you're on the run in Uruguay, $500 goes a long way.
Thank you,
right?
thank you.
I mean, this guy skipped the border from Argentina to Uruguay, and I knew that. Isn't that crazy that I knew that? Because that's been confirmed now that he's in Uruguay. It's not even like a conjecture. He's there, right? There's this new Twitter feature where they show where the country of origin is for everybody, so people can't lie about where they're from. Have you seen that?
Well, I heard.
I think that that Twitter function is like hit or miss. I don't really think that it's 100% because there's plenty of people who like videos I've seen or commentary on like YouTube where they're very obviously in the US and live in the US, but it shows them outside of it. A lot of that could be because of the fact that a good amount of people use VPNs, which is a virtual proxy network. And the reason people use VPNs is because of like hacking and shit like that. I mean, hell, I use a VPN. So if I was to log into Twitter on my freaking my desktop, it would probably show or say, it's in question that I'm in the fucking United States. But I mean, I was a fucking United States Marine, so very obviously fucking live here.
Heard that a bunch of prominent MAGA meme accounts got outed as being from like Africa and and Asia and stuff.
So Bad Empanada has been tweeting, if you can believe it, from Uruguay.
Shout out.
What's the monthly average income in Uruguay?
I don't
Granted,
know.
I might be ignorant on this, but I assume that $500 is probably a lot of money in his world.
No, I think that's probably correct.
But I appreciate his generous support. I really do. I think, as someone who's just been really nasty, I think it's a meaningful gesture to see him
be
make
so
a donation
nice.
to me. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Ben.
Especially after playing that game where he pretended like he was shooting Gila Klein. It's real nice of Bad Empanada to send a 500 buckaroos over.
Average monthly salary in Uruguay is $1,300 a month. So I mean, that's almost half of your monthly salary right there for an average worker. Right. Paulu Kingston, thank you for the 500. Shauna M, Elizabeth Adams, iDubbbz. iDubbbz, thank you so much separately. Wait, this is so funny. I actually never thought about this. Anissa's like, by the way, Anissa doesn't make money. We all know that. She's never made money.
No. I mean, she did. I'm sure she made more, some money on her OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure. But when it came to being a streamer, yeah, she didn't really make a whole lot of money.
So iDubbbz is down here,
especially as it being her like primary source of income.
Here on the list, getting cucked with the 420. Anissa spends $1,000 to get on the top tier list. I'm sorry, but I find that hilarious. Either way,
Gobi likes what he sees.
Either way, $1 is $1, and I want to thank you both equally for, especially Anissa though, who obviously runs the finances in the situation. Also want to thank Cruel World Happy Mind Madison, who was just popped in graciously right before the settlement to donate $100. Frankly, I think you owe me a lot more than that based on the damages you've done. But a gesture is a gesture, and I appreciate it. And I thank you, Madison, for being so kind and thoughtful in that regard.
You have a fan of
How nice of her to donate to the pedo Kleins, right? That's so great. Oh man, you got to listen. When people get their comeuppance, when people lose, like, and there's a saying where there's this person said it, I forget exactly who said it, but the quote was, "I wish you were as correct as you think you are," because there's a lot of people with such vitriol in their body and such vitriol in their words who think they're correct, but they're just simply not.
In the chat from Uruguay, they said that info is wrong. I asked them what's the real.
That seemed kind of high, but I don't know anything about Uruguay, so maybe it's a wealthier.
Well,
country.
we have somebody from there.
Yeah, what do you?
Who I'm asking.
Yo, iDubbbz gave 420. Isn't that funny? Bro, he did a funny joke. iDubbbz, he's so back. He donated 420. That's the smoke. That's when you're supposed to smoke, bro.
That's the weed number. Yeah.
How do you think of that?
Fuck you, loser bitch.
Shut up, bitch.
I love the fact that they have the sound bites and they go back and forth on it.
It's more like 800 or so.
That seems more like in line. So that's almost a month's salary for.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that intel.
1,300 is probably like the average when you consider like all the billionaires or like the ultra wealthy. You know what I mean? Like of the normal types of people there.
Hold it up, yeah. Shout out to Pokey Nukem.
Thank our patrons. You want? Oh, Chiefy says thank you to Anissa and iDubbbz for that, and Bad Empanada. I know, they were so generous of them to donate to us.
You like playing with his.
All right, let's get to where he responds to.
Barking at everybody at full volume to play with him. All
where
night.
he continues the
He's
response.
So sweet. He cuddles up. He's so sweet.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to analyze.
I want to begin by stating I take responsibility for
We heard this
infringing
part,
content nuke.
That's okay. I'll skip forward a little bit.
To garner sympathy. This lawsuit has given me a greater content creation community. It is important for the entire content creation community to respect the intellectual property rights of other creators, and I will adhere to the lessons I've learned throughout this process going forward. I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support, financial or otherwise.
We heard this part, but it's important.
Never even
worth
reached out to me
repeating.
privately to offer words of support. Speaking honestly, I found his indifference to my suffering hurtful, especially after he hinted he might help me behind the scene.
Right.
It felt like he wanted to receive credit from the public for him helping me without providing any.
Yep.
As to the GoFundMe money, to the extent there are any remaining funds after I pay my attorney's fees, I have agreed to pay the remaining funds to the clients.
Thank you.
The funds will not go to anyone else, including Denims or Frogan, to defend their lawsuits. For the record, I have agreed to cooperate with the clients in their litigation against the H3 Snark mods for promoting my live stream.
Now that part is really interesting too, because the snarkers were just celebrating her freedom. But interestingly, she says she's obligating herself to help us in our legal pursuit of the snark mod.
Whenever somebody talks about their freedom, you have to ask freedom to what?
That's actually a good thing. A good question, I should say. But I do wonder exactly what is it that she would have? Like, does she have emails between her and some of the Stark mods or snarkers? Is there DMs between them? Like, what extent can she have? Because she was kind of like a leaf on a branch on the opposite side of the tree. She was the hang around of the anti-Ethan hate train, right? So I can't really imagine that there's a whole lot that she would have. But imagine that Kaceytron is the one who's got like all of the most damning evidence when it comes to this. That would be very interesting. But I guess we're gonna have to wait. And that's the shittiest part about all of this, is that we have to wait to actually see what potentially she has. I do wonder though. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I haven't checked her numbers, but I can only imagine that she's probably lost some support in the snark community.
Right. Freedom to do the right thing, to help the good guys against
It's
the
just
bad
like
guys.
the South, they were fighting for freedom too, but the freedom for what?
That's a great point.
Brutal. She's not a slaver, Dan.
No, I'm pointing out. I wasn't trying to make that comparison.
That was a despicable.
No. I was not. Anyway, trying to apply that.
I know, I'm kidding. But you're right. What are you fighting for? Freedom sometimes, freedom isn't free. Sometimes it's a hefty fucking fee. Right?
Give us our freedom, Joe Biden! To the extent that I am able. I will offer my support, including...
This is my first ever super chat. Been watching since Mommy Makeout Day.
Oh.
Love the show. I'm from Brazil. If you want me to go to Uruguay and fix the problem, that's not funny. No. We don't joke. I get it. You're just being supportive, but I can't even entertain...
Not even as a joke.
Yeah,
in fact, I liked that comment before I saw what it said.
I know.
I am unliking it. I don't like that.
But shout out Brazil, shout out to you, person.
We're not joking.
Shout out to those old days of Mommy Mecca Day.
Thank you for your continued support, but I do
Yeah.
want to say for the record that we're not joking about doing violence or anything like that, right?
No.
So I disavow that part, but I thank you for your support. So, yeah. I'm sure what you meant is give a stern talking to if you so happen to cross paths with him, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, no, we all know exactly what they were meaning. Like, come on, I get it. You're trying to like sweep on past that, but yeah, definitely got to denounce any level of violence. Look, guys, just because you dislike somebody doesn't mean you have to immediately go to violence. If my personal opinion, if you're angry over words and your immediate idea is to go to violence, you're kind of a Neanderthal. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely people who should, get jaw checked for some of the shit that they say. But if your immediate response is violence, you might have an issue.
Just to go to a country and ran into one person.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen.
Yeah.
Testifying under oath.
Speaking of bad opinion, didn't he gave me $500? That was cool.
I squashed the beat.
Yes.
I have just stated to help their cause. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge other misconduct and bad behavior I have exhibited online.
Mm-hmm.
For example, weaponizing the death of Asmongold's mother was inexcusable.
Now I'll say this: no matter what you think of Asmongold, the way that people have used the death of his parents.
I gotta be honest, I don't know. Do you want to fill us in on what?
Yeah, so
is?
his mom, I believe, died of lung cancer,
Okay.
and he used to buy her stuff and take care of her. She's a lifetime smoker.
Yeah, he takes care of his parents.
And he would buy her cigarettes because that's what she wanted. That's what she needed. She's a lifetime smoker. You can't just not buy her cigarettes and expect her to quit. It doesn't.
I
Make
think I
sense.
see where this.
Yeah.
Is.
And so there's like, you killed your mom.
But also, it is so especially cruel because, from what I understand, he was for years the caretaker of his parents.
Yeah,
basically.
both of them.
Well, she also implied that the living conditions is what, what contributed to her dying. But at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, like the only real dirty part of the house was his room. I could be wrong on that, but just because his room is like a mess doesn't necessarily mean the remaining part of his house was a mess. I might be wrong. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't believe that like they were living in filth. I think the Roach King was the only one doing so.
Yeah,
so,
both
like,
of them.
Yeah.
And his dad.
There's a lot of smokers in my family, and we've gone through similar things. My grandfather insisted on smoke. He was dying of cancer and insisted on smoking, and
and they get so stubborn, like
exactly.
really.
They'll argue.
And also, it's like
You
they
know?
have a limited amount of time. Do you really want to be telling them they can't do this thing that they enjoy?
And
It's just
it's also complicated and like
For
it's
sure.
just
But
it's just cruel.
Listen, no matter how you cut it, saying he killed his mom is just a despicable low blow that nobody should need to ever go to.
Yeah.
And then he tragically lost his dad recently, and people have been quick to weaponize that as well. So I think it's really.
Yep.
No matter what you think of Asmongold, I do think, for the record, it's very kind of her to apologize for that, because I do think that there's a level of civility. There are lines that we should not cross, no matter how much we despise each other. And I think weaponizing the death of a loved one is definitely one of them, right? So I think that was a really good inclusion there.
True, but the internet gonna internet.
The donator, just to clarify, he says, yes, for the record, I was joking. Well, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
Thank you.
we're in.
I'm sure he was joking.
Yeah,
But
I knew you were
we
kidding.
have to clarify.
We're in. You understand. Yeah.
I should know better because I have 3 disabled people that rely on me.
Right, and I thought that was a really good inclusion too, because it hits close to home. I mean, if she has 3 dependents, which she does, and she is a dedicated caretaker as well,
Right.
which is a good and kind and
Very hard.
difficult responsibility, right?
But that's also the point that everybody has been making. Like, if you truly are this caretaker of somebody, why is it exactly would you neglect them in such a way? And I guess neglect is probably a bad word. Why would you engage in such a way that would put them, and it is ego. You're thinking solely about yourself. You get tunnel vision. You're in this back and forth because you believe that you have this multimillionaire in your pocket, or at least his wallet. And that's the whole reason, in my personal opinion, why I believe Kaceytron went forward with all of this and did all of this, is because she thought she would get a bailout from Hassan. Now, is that the case? Don't entirely know, but consider, based off of the language here, based off of what it is that she says, that's what I think, that's my opinion on this. I think that's the only reason she was so vehemently going against the Kleins and was very cocky in the beginning when the freaking lawsuits came down, is because she was under the impression that she was going to get a bailout.
Right. So I think that this exhibition of empathy is good. I appreciate it. And I think it's good for everybody. So thank you to Kaceytron for being mature about that one there. Really appreciate it.
Moving forward, I will do better. I also want to apologize to the crew of the H3 podcast, particularly AB and Olivia. I apologize for calling them cowards for not quitting their jobs. That was a shameful attack on 2 people who deeply care about Palestine and Palestinian people.
Yeah.
AB, along with his wife Lena, have done more than I have ever done for the Palestinian
And
people.
by the way, that's not even like a knock at her. Not many people have done what you guys have done. I mean, who else can say they raised $100,000, right? I mean,
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that was a much needed apology too, and I'm very grateful to her for that, because, well, it goes without being said, right?
Yeah.
It goes without being said. So that was good.
People, including raising over $100,000 in charity. I recognize that they have actually made Palestinian lives better, and my online antagonism and trolling has not.
And I thought that was a really kind of self-aware That was almost like incredibly, what a great apology. Because she
yeah, self-aware, I'll have to agree. And like I said, I think boiling it down to antagonizing 100%, but trolling, I don't know. Maybe I just don't watch enough Kaceytron, or I guess any Kaceytron, to understand exactly like what her trolling style is. But saying that somebody like doesn't do anything for the Palestinian plights, or that they're terrible people, or that they need to leave their job because they work for like a Nazi or a genocidal maniac, that I don't really see that as trolling. I just see that as somebody being a bitch. I just see that as somebody lashing out and attacking people that have nothing to do with your issues with a singular person. It's downplaying in my opinion, but at the end of the day, at least she freaking took accountability for it. I'm not gonna knock her for that, but I will say you're kind of downplaying what you did and what you said.
She's on one hand acknowledging that not only have you done more through your activism and fundraising, that her antagonism and trolling has done nothing to help the people of Gaza, which is something I think a lot of people online could hear. Putting a watermelon in your Twitter bio does not make you an activist. Right?
Or just like constantly harassing me on my social posts is not going to do anything for Palestine.
Obsessing over every.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when what is it, in February, when fucking when companies put a black square on their Twitter or something, that doesn't do anything. You're not actually doing any activism whatsoever. You're just following the trend. And then you're like putting out new products to have to go with like BLM or Black History Month or Hanukkah, whatever the fuck it is. Like it's marketing. It has nothing to do with actually like giving a damn about the plights of people.
You know,
every Jewish person you perceive as maybe having something or somebody or anything they like in Israel as a Nazi baby killer is not activism. That's just you being a psychopath, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So that's great. I think I appreciate that a lot.
I apologize to Ethan and Hila personally. I have said extremely mean and cruel things about both of them, particularly my misogynistic attacks against Hila that never should have been said.
Yeah, and this part's good because her and a lot of other people have been saying that my lawsuits are misogynistic, which is something I from the beginning took extraordinary umbrage with. And then for them to be attacking you and calling you like, I won't repeat it, it doesn't matter now. But
well, it's just how ironic that they actually are the ones, going for my looks, which is what normally stupid guys on the internet do.
Yeah. While simultaneously accusing us of being misogynists, for.
Yeah, it's hypocrisy. It's complete and utter hypocrisy. Rules for thee, but not for me. I can do it, but you can't.
Trying to enforce, but
yeah.
But anyway, once again, I thank her for that.
I accepted the apology.
Yeah, it's very kind of her to apologize for that, to make us aware of that. So thank you.
I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces. It should concern all of us.
That's such an important thing to bring up. I mean, it's true. Like when you look at leftist spaces online specifically, I'm not saying like leftists in general, but she really strikes on something interesting there. When she's talking about leftist spaces, you're talking about like Bad and Banada. You're talking about like Hassan Piker. You're talking about like these online commies, like the squirrel girl lady. Like anti-Semitism is rampant, and I think it's important for people who are members of the left to start calling that out. And she's right. We should all be worried about that. So that was actually a brave, courageous admission there, or condemnation even. So that was great. I appreciate that. I do.
There's always going to be a target, right? There's always like, it's going to move. It's going to continue to move. People want something to be upset over. So people want a group to be like demonized, to be able to weaponize their hate against. And most people will do it. I mean, there's only like the best way to keep people in line. If you're in any way, shape or form, a influential personality or an influential person. And this goes from, a social media influencer all the way up to like the president of the United States. Fear is like the number one thing that will get people in line. It is what got us into a multitude of different wars. It is what had us do internment camps here in the United States. It is what has allowed us to do a litany of fucking things, was fear, fear-mongering, fear, whatever it is that you want to say. And it's just a situation now where this online internet holy war, as fucking Princess Mantis would say, and as a lot of people would say, it is now, it's just anti-Semitism. It's Jewish people who have the target on their back because the whole conflict, genocide, war, whatever you want to call it, it's easy to go ahead and hate when you have a target, when you have a specific person or group of people to, focus your ire on.
Problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces.
I'll play that again.
I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces.
Yeah.
It should concern all of us. I condemn it and will not participate in it.
Thank you.
To that end, I wish the Klein's success in enforcing TED Entertainment's copyright and protecting the legal rights of online content creators.
Yeah. And thank you for wishing us the best.
There's a reason why people say that an individual is intelligent, but a group of people are retarded. Well, the other thing about this is that if you believe 1 + 1 = 2, but you're in a room full of people that believe 1 + 1 = 3, socially, you will be considered incorrect, right? You will be considered wrong. You will be considered somebody who is uneducated, even if you are factually correct, right? So when it comes to the wave of social pressure, social construct, social, just a social belief, if the majority of people are led to believe something that is factually incorrect, if you have actual facts that what they believe is incorrect, you are going to be within the minority. So therefore, you will be considered to be wrong. It happens all the time with like police shootings. Police shootings are amazingly one of the #1 thing where people will always jump out and try and cry some level of racism or oversight or overstep or something of that nature, So how many times have we had it to where people are like, oh, they just ran up, there was no gun, there was no nothing, and then the body cam comes out a couple of days later and there's a gun, the person very obviously shot at cops and stuff. I mean, there was the video that I made I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago or something like that, where the family was so adamantly denying that the guy who ended up getting shot would ever carry a gun. He was this good person, that they accused the officer that shot him, the off-duty officer that shot him, of lying, and the police department covering it up. And then the body cam comes out and they have to go on they didn't have to, but they went on the record with their lawyer stating, once we saw the body cam, there was no questions. The dude literally pistol whipped an off-duty officer, fired at him, and unfortunately lost his life. Like, it's what happens in these situations. 2 + 2 does not equal 4. Snicker quote from a movie. What's up, Dion?
In our cases, our continued pursuit of legal justice against Denims and Frogan, and the mods, the HD mods. And I hate to say it, the majority report. I mean, these guys, there's just a crazy blind spot for it. And I mean, of all people, Kaceytron to be the one speaking reason is incredible. So thank you. So anyway, that's it. So I'm very grateful, and I wish her all the best in her future endeavors. Right?
Yes.
And that's it. That's all there is. I'm done. I'm over it.
Nice.
Yeah.
One door is closed.
One door closes, another opens. I don't know what door's opening. Oh, actually, there's another door opening.
Was that?
I'm not talking about it yet, but this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if Frogan does end up settling, because out of the 3 of them, Frogan's the only one who has made like the most minimal, if not zero, public statements about this whatsoever. Denims and Kaceytron continue to talk about the lawsuit, their defense, what they believed, and continued to be very vocal about all of this. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It boggles my mind how Frogan is the smartest out of the 3 of them and has completely shut up and not said anything, really.
One door closes, another opens. It never ends, although I wish it would. Yeah, so I mean, there it is, right? So I want to emphasize how important it is for you guys to be kind, be empathetic to her. We won. She conceded. That's it. We don't need to fight this battle anymore. Kaceytron all day, every day.
And that's pretty much that. I mean, there's really no reason to go after her whatsoever. It's a win and a loss. It's somebody has to somebody has to win, somebody has to lose when it comes to a lawsuit. Generally, I mean, it could be amicably, dropped entirely. David Bryan, lead singer for the Talking Heads, wrote a movie called True Stories. It was interesting. Oh well, I would not know, but they do end up covering Hassan's reaction to Kaceytron's apology. So I want to take a look at that, and then we're going to move on to Willie Mack's video.
And it sounds like there's something here I should respond to.
Oh, the quote was from that movie?
It sounds like he's not taking accountability. Now let's see. Ethan, he says I'm behaving like Israel. In what way am I behaving like Israel? Can you please take responsibility and not make everything about Israel? This has nothing to do with Israel, bro. This is about copyright infringement. What are you talking about? You said you were going to help her. You didn't.
No, that's crazy.
Why is all the videos so fucked up? Okay, here.
Something with Reddit. I don't know.
All right, so here's Hassan. He reacted to it. Let's see.
This is a sincerely written apology. No, they're going to fucking be like, well, since this is brought up, they made her apologize to Asmongold too. This shit's got to stop.
Jesus Christ. Can we get some pixels with this video? Holy crap. What did they record this on?
Again, great.
Didn't make her do anything. And by the way, she did not lie in that at all. In fact, she said she would testify under oath to everything she said in it. I would never ask her to lie in an apology. That's just, and nor did she want to or did. It was all.
Not only that, but I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that if you do lie in like a settlement apology, like a public apology for a settlement, I do believe that that has the ability to negate whatever the settlement is, and you could be charged for that. I'm not 100% sure, but it makes absolutely no sense to lie during a settlement agreement. Otherwise, that settlement typically will become null and void.
It's all truthful and genuine.
And no lawyers would allow that bullshit either.
Yeah.
If you are getting your rocks off of basically trying to bankrupt a random person.
So she started it by saying it's not frivolous. Okay, and I understand why you have a vested interest in framing it that way, because you are one of the top offenders for stealing content. You are known for leaving your chair and letting copyrighted footage play while you are not even sitting. So certainly I understand your bias on that matter because you have a vested interest in it, and it's only a matter of time before you get sued for doing something similar. Unfortunately, you did fair use of my video, and so I never intended on suing you personally, but there were people who maliciously stole my content, and that is a problem.
Well, not only that, Ethan, but you did encourage him to watch it. You specifically asked him to watch it, so you were never going to be able to sue him in general. So, which is why I don't understand why people are like, oh, he wanted to sue Hassan, but he couldn't, so he went after them. He openly invited him to watch the content nuke. The moment that happened, there was no legal recourse he could have had.
Mass loser, idiot, liar, broke. Apparently he's broke. Smaug.
I highly doubt he was
What's broke? What's Smaug, but without gold? I don't know. We can just watch.
If she was caught lying in that statement, she could be held for perjury for that public statement if there are any lies in it. Yeah, exactly, Neon. That's what I'm saying. Like, if she lies in a public statement that was agreed upon for a settlement, then she could be held for perjury. Then things could, end up going even worse for her, because then it would actually be the court going after her. It would be an entity going after her rather than a individual.
Online. So much so that they might become homeless, and you make them shoot an
She not okay.
ISIS style hostage video in the process of mediator, and that's how you can get your rocks off. You are one of the biggest, most pathetic losers of all.
You want to address what she said? So I'm an asshole, right? But like what she said about you is kind of incendiary, and you should respond to it. She said you made it seem like you were going to reach out to help, and you didn't even reach out to her at all, despite insinuating that you would. She said you wanted public credit without doing any of the work. So okay, you can call me an asshole, but what about what she said?
He'll never address what it is that she said. He can't. That's the thing. He can't address it whatsoever, or else it'll be an issue. If he addresses it, then essentially what he has to do is explain why he never financially helped her and why he never even reached out to her in the first place. And there's literally, when it comes to his position, when it comes to the people around him, when it comes to his followers, there's people he would lose. There's supporters he would lose if he was to get it, like try and give any level of an explanation, especially with how he tried hinting at the fact that he would help.
Is it true? Because I've noticed that he's not
all fucking time torturing small streamers to get your fucking
Kaceytron's one of the most whatever. I don't
rocks off, like the absolute.
You keep saying rocks off. What is that? The phrase of the day? Rocks off.
Loser that you are. Congratulations, you got your fucking legal.
I've noticed he is really not. He's really avoiding the substance of what she said about.
Yeah, let's just stick to name calling,
he really
insults,
is avoiding it.
Anything but actually talking about it.
It's almost like she was telling the truth, and he is afraid for people to find out that he's actually just a giant scumbag that didn't offer them help at all. As far as I'm aware, he didn't offer any of them help, as far as I'm aware.
Court-mandated apology.
It's not a court... Bro, you're such an idiot.
Yeah, it's not a court-mandated apology, bro. It's an agreement. It's a settlement agreement. Hassan's community will eat Hassan alive. Well, yeah, like, ever since the Kaya situation where he freaking shocked his dog, it's been going downhill. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, it's fallen off a cliff or he's irrelevant now. No, of course not. It's been a gradual decline. And he's more people have lost support in him because, I mean, of all things on the internet, you really don't fuck with animals. Let's be realistic here. So that's the whole like issue with this is he's been on a social decline. He's becoming less relevant, not to say he isn't relevant at all, but he's slowly becoming less and less relevant due to the fact of that, well, some people are seeing through this facade. So I don't see why it is that you can't expect anything out of this guy to try something, He's getting upset at the fact that freaking his China World Tour isn't going well, like I Show Speed Leeds did. And it's because, bro, you once you leave the comfort of your mansion and go out in the real world, you realize that your online facade, your online life and all that, it doesn't reach the outside world the way you think it does, man. He is, though, in a tumultuous relationship with his community right now. Yeah, that's what, yeah, exactly, Neon. He's getting called out more and more within his streams, and there's plenty of clips showing him interacting with those call outs. People are actually starting to wake up just a tiny little bit to his continual grift, and he's getting called out more.
There's no such thing as a court mandated apology. This is a mediation, okay? The court doesn't demand that we settle it at all. This is just to try to bring the parties together to resolve it before going to court and taking up the clogging up the court system and this and that. It's a good idea. And luckily for all of us, we were able to actually come to an amicable agreement. So the mediation process does work. It's not court ordered, bro. It's a civil lawsuit, you dipshit. You literally don't even know anything.
But he has to keep the grift up. He has to keep the talking points up. And then you have all the people who are turning around and reiterating the same factually incorrect points on Twitter, on YouTube, all this, that, and the third, because none of them have the ability to think for themselves. No, they didn't. Look, it was a mediation. They weren't in front of a judge. There was no jury. They weren't in a courtroom. More than likely, they sat down at one of the, whether it was on Zoom or whatever, it was between Ethan and his lawyers and Kaceytron and her lawyers and a mediator in between the two of them, whomever that mediator was, whether this was in person, whether this was over Zoom, whatever the fuck it was. There was no judge stating, Kaceytron, you must say this. Like, that's not how this works. This is an out-of-court settlement that was decided upon by the two of them and agreed upon by the two of them.
It wasn't even to serve any sort of justice whatsoever. It was because you had a lot of fucking money. You had a lot more money.
You know who has a lot of money? You. And I've noticed you're really avoiding the thing that she said, which is that you implied you'd be helping her, and yet you did not even reach out to her. Please address that. I'm an asshole. Sure, I accept that. You're right. I'm an asshole.
I think it would be interesting if he thinks it's such a frivolous lawsuit. Like, go ahead and explain what's so frivolous about it. Was there no
Or if it's such a frivolous lawsuit, why wouldn't you just help? If you know that it's like, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If he truly believed that it was a vexatious litigation, if it was a vexatious lawsuit, well, then that means that Kaceytron would have the ability to countersue Ethan Klein and recoup the money, or some of the money at least, that she spent. So if you truly believed it was a vexatious lawsuit or vexatious litigation and that it held no merit and that all it was to go ahead and financially ruin somebody, why wouldn't you then help them to win the lawsuit and provide them with financial support to then also do a countersuit? Like, this is like, it's literally what happens. Look at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Johnny Depp sued her for defamation. She believed that it wasn't defamation. She did a countersuit against his defamation claims. Like, if you're suing somebody, you almost always have the ability to file a countersuit. And so it's just stupid. It's just completely and utterly stupid that he would even think that this is something that somebody with the ability to think for themselves would believe. This is why I say, look, I'm not a lawyer. I've always said that, but I'm also not dumb. Like, if I'm going to research something, if I watch something, if I take something in, like, I will, for lack of better words, regurgitate it. But at the same time, I'm not going to stand so, freaking 10 toes down on something that I'm not sure of. I'm more willing to be wrong about something than I am to just say something I'm unsure of.
No copyright infringement? Like, I'd like to hear him explain how.
That'd love to hear that too. I mean, that'd be.
But he'll never talk about the actual substance of it.
Not only that, she expressed in a very, in a genuine way that she, on a personal level, was felt upset that he never reached out to her after insinuating he would.
She felt
That's
betrayed.
her saying that, bro. That's not me. Okay, like, accept some responsibility, brother, and address the actual substance of the argument.
Than they did.
Or not even an argument; it's a statement of fact.
So you could,
if you reached out, that would be extraordinarily easy for you to prove.
Exactly.
Like, here it is. I reached out. Here's the email. I called her on this day. I did that.
bury them in a mountain.
But you're not doing that. You're just calling me a dickhead.
And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy and asinine how his community just eats this up. There's so many mouth breathers in this world. Don't be one of them.
I cannot make her lie. No, that's ridiculous. And nor would I ask to, but no. There was no, that's ridiculous. Everything is engaged in good faith here. There's no lying. Everybody is honest and straightforward. And again, she said she would testify under oath. So, I mean, she's not lying. I mean, she's not.
Of paperwork.
But like I said, he could prove it immediately. if he reached out to her or any of the other two.
Okay.
It's almost like he could just show you the caller on Kaya when it was happening,
He
right?
could have. It's so easy to prove.
Some things are so
Could
simple.
have so easily proved that he didn't electrocute his dog in the moment he was caught doing it.
But he'll just change the story like 15 times
He's
maybe
like, bro,
over
this
like
is
a month.
literally just like that is. He literally blamed Israel.
It's obfuscation and deflection. That's what it always will be. Here's the thing. Here's how you can tell whether or not somebody is genuine or not genuine. If they do not engage with the points you're making and obfuscate it to something else. If you're like, okay, well, why didn't you reach out to her? And it's like, look, she's able to say whatever she wants. Let her say anything about me, anything negative about me in order to get out of the foot of Ethan Klein. It's like, that's wonderful and all, but can you prove that is she telling the truth? Yes or no? Well, you know, Ethan's a very terrible human being. So I look, if I have to be the martyr, then I'll be the martyr. And it's like, okay, cool. Amazing. Did you reach out to her? Did you support her in any way whatsoever or not, man? Like if they don't engage with the substance of what you're saying, you know, it's a little, you know, it's on its face.
Israel. He blamed Israel. He says, I'm acting like Israel. I don't even know what the fuck that means. And then he goes, oh yeah, the shock dog thing is an Israel.
Zionist talking
Zionist
point.
talking like, the fuck, bro? When is that going to stop working? Like, please, there has to be a limit to what you can blame on the Zionists. There has to be.
No, you're in the right, dude. Everybody knows that's what real winners do. And the reality of the matter is, yeah, by the way, Ethan is literally behaving like Israel. This is like
what does that even mean?
Israel style behavior.
How?
Is Israel
The
style
reality of the
behavior.
matter is,
That's such a racist thing to say too, and I hate getting into that type of like racial politics. But it's like this is such an Israel style behavior. Like, what does that mean? It's like when freaking Madison said that, well, you know, Gila grew up in Israel and knows what they were taught, so she should apologize for that. It's like, apologize for what? You're not explaining. You're not giving a point as to what it is that she should apologize for. All it does is sound like you're saying she should apologize for being born in Israel.
anyone,
I'm not. I don't even know what he means.
I would love to hear what he means
Like,
by
I
that.
can't even guess.
What? Yeah, what?
Jewish.
You're acting like Jew.
I mean,
That's literally what it is.
Jewish,
like, because
Jewish.
I mean, like, if you're just talking behavior, like, what does Israel do? Like, they have money and make people say forced confessions about things that like, what?
No.
That's never happened. What are you talking about? By the way, that's not what happened. That's what he says happened. Just for the record, if people try to clip me and say I admit that, that's not.
No,
what
but yeah, it's not. That's not something that you can think of as like.
did he just call me a
broadly.
Jew?
I really wonder.
Because I don't know what that means otherwise, and maybe he can explain. You know, he's acting
And
like Israel.
the reality of the matter is,
It's crazy.
by the way, Ethan is literally behaving like Israel. This is
Like what?
You better explain what that means, because it sounds really weird and
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Surely he'll explain.
style behavior. But the reality of the matter is, if anyone actually looks at that, if anyone actually looks at any of those statements whatsoever and turns around and says, wow, this is, you know, justice has been served here, they're already a fucking loser too.
Well, I
So,
suggest
no,
people,
he doesn't explain it. The Israel.
bro, what do you
Jewish.
mean? I really think you should explain what you mean by that. Wow.
Jewish.
I don't know. I think what he's trying to insinuate there is that Israel, you know, because they are a much greater force than Palestine and they're pushing their weight around. That's what I'm going to assume he's trying to insinuate. It's absolutely crazy. Remember, Willie's wife is Messiah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That too, Neon. It's insane. Like, dude, you know what you could have done, Hassan, if you truly wanted to go ahead and prove that it was a frivolous lawsuit? You could have covered the lawsuit. You could have pulled up the filings. You could have gone over it and completely explained why and how it's a frivolous lawsuit. But you didn't. As far as I know, he never reacted to it. He never went on stream and went through the lawsuit itself. Am I wrong? Possibly. I don't think that I am, but it is entirely possible. It is what it is. This is a total Ethan W. Best of luck to Kaceytron. Truly hope she doesn't continue to engage in watch party and copyright infringement, because her admission that acknowledging the fact that what she did was copyright infringement is only going to hurt her in the future if she continues to do stuff like this. You know, if somebody else comes along with the amount of money, doesn't necessarily have to be Ethan Klein money, but with any significant amount of pocket change to turn around and actually engage in a further lawsuit, she's already admitted to how she reacted or, you know, watched the Ethan Klein content nuke was copyright infringement. So if she engages in the same style of content, she's opening herself up to further litigation in the future. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, best of luck. Best of luck. That's all I can say. Okay, let's move on over to Willie Mac's newest video on Kaceytron and freaking Qualm. It's funny that so many videos came out about this prior to the settlement actually happening. When the settlement came out and or when her video dropped and I was listening to it, I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to eat crow on this one, because I said that I don't think that she would, you know, put her ego aside and admit to all of this. But hey, you know what, you win some, you lose some. So let's see what Willie Mac had to say a couple days ago.